Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, you're watching Lolcowlive with Jordy and Tommy and Boogie298. And believe it or not, we actually got him. Cyraxx is here. Cyraxx, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing good, man. How about yourselves?
Doing all right. You prefer Cyraxx or do you prefer Chance?
Hey, like I always tell everybody, call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for dinner, man.
Well, okay, so I looked into you today, and I'm sorry, this is all brand new for me.
Oh, it's all good, bro.
I'm going to hope you can educate me the same way that you can educate our audience today. Not everybody's going to be familiar with the situation, but it looks like, from what I understand, you are the most trolled person to ever exist.
Come get a
I don't know. My wife's 42. Yours is 14.
True, yeah.
That's a fucking lie, you dumb hooker.
Welcome back to another edition of the Cyrax Deep Dive series that we've been going on for the past couple months now. Today is part 17, I believe, and it's crazy to think that we're here. Today's episode is going to be a little different from what we would usually be doing. Instead of covering a specific arc or timeline in the Cyrax lore, we're going to be covering the time, which is kind of recent, that he went on the Lolcowlive podcast and told all. Honestly, this is such a great ride. It starts off a little slow, but I promise you, at the end, it is worth it. There are so many great bits that come in here. It's honestly like a final showdown, the final boss match, if you will, of Lolcows. You got Boogie298, Tommy C, Wings of Redemption, and Cyrax. It's gonna be an absolute crap show.
It's insane, right? Like, I started out doing music back in like 2009, but never in my whole career of being on YouTube and, you know, doing music like I've been doing over the years, never did I think that I would ever get drug into this massively crazy situation that I got drug into. Like, it's insane.
So I've definitely listened to a little bit of your music. I heard you have a diss track out there that I need to hear.
I don't have it out as of right now, but I started to work on it. I just never got the chance to finish it because of the fact that
me and Boogie.
It's nothing against you guys. Like I said, like I told you, man, I have nothing but the utmost respect for you guys.
What the hell is even that?
Dog, like, it's all good. Like,
oh yeah,
I have diss tracks from all kinds of variations.
Oh,
of
bro, I've gotten so many diss tracks myself that I done lost count like 2 years ago, man.
So we're starting out hot with Cyrax feeling like a minor celebrity being invited on such a prestigious platform such as the Lolcowlive podcast. And I'm telling you, this is probably the highest Cyrax will ever actually achieve in his YouTubing career. So he's gonna talk a little bit about some of this music, and apparently at one point he was gonna threaten a diss track towards good old Boogie and Wings of Redemption here, but seems like he backed out.
But you could dish it out as well as you take it, right? Like you give it right back to him, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, if somebody were to throw a diss track at me, I could easily take whatever they say and spin it.
Yeah, it's a compliment, really, if you think about it. You know,
it is. Yeah, it's like, and that's why I always tell like a lot of these haters, because as a lot of people know, I do get a lot of haters in my comments. I get a lot of haters watching my stuff, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this. The thing that never made any sense to me is they sit there and they talk about hating our stuff, but yet if you hate our stuff, why are you continuing to watch it?
Good question.
Now Cyrax, I know this might be a hard conceptual thing to wrap your mind around, but there is a thing called hate watching, and people will hate watch individuals just for the pure joy of watching them suffer. And since you have all these trolls and all these people dedicated to making your life hell, you have tons of people, like myself, who are hate watching from afar and even documenting these things into videos so the internet at large can enjoy it with us. That's just what happens to people like you, Cyrax. When you are terminally online doing absolutely deviant things, this is just what happens.
What's your opinion of the cows and the Lolcow project, Cyrax?
It's definitely, like, dude, what you guys do is awesome, man. Like, what you guys do, how you guys go about, like, putting out word about, like, this is what we deal with as, you know, up and coming YouTubers. This is what we deal with on a daily basis.
Well, we're kind of washed up YouTubers.
Yeah, we're on the other side. Yeah, we're on the back side.
Well, yeah, but you are, but you aren't. Like, it's one of those things things where it's like you guys are still doing your thing despite what these people say. So it's really, it depends. It's all in how you look at it. It's all about perspective.
Goddamn, Cyrax, I didn't expect you to be the philosophical Nostradamus of this whole podcast, but goddamn, that might be the smartest thing I've ever heard you say. If only you actually practiced what you preached, this would be something absolutely astonishing. We could say, hey, the goblin's learning, but honestly, we're about to see in like 15 seconds that this goblin is just regurgitating something he probably heard from therapy.
Well, how do you, is there any particular cow you like? Like, what's your opinion of Keemstar or Wings or Boogie? What do you know?
Honestly, dude, oh man, dude, there's just so many of them out there. Like, Keemstar's definitely a good dude for sure. Like, I've seen some of the stuff he's done. Not a fan of what he did in the past, though. Like, he's done some really shady shit in the past.
You did say Keemstar. What was that about?
There was a thing where somebody had made up this screenshot to make it look like he was attacking me, when in reality, he actually wasn't. Like, they made it look like, oh, he was attacking me and this and that and the other. Then I later on found out, like, oh, this is just some photoshopped garbage that these guys made up to try to start shit between me and Keemstar. I'm like, what the?
Personally, I love learning about new Cyrax lore. I'm sure somewhere along the line I've heard this in passing, but this is the first time I think I've actually heard the whole situation between Cyrax and Keemstar, whatever situation there may have been, actually broken down. Next, they're gonna be talking about good old Marty boy and how he enters this whole situation. Surprisingly, we really don't hear that much about Marty on this whole like hour and 20-minute stream they did. So I'm kind of surprised on that end.
Marty.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marty.
I'm almost certain Marty didn't drag you into this, but like he was very early on in the whole.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what makes you keep interacting with Music Biz Marty?
The fact that he keeps on doing like these super personal shots, and basically he does whatever he can to get in my way of the shit that I'm trying to do. You know, like he'll break into my YouTube accounts. He'll just go out of his way and just do really messed up stuff. For a long while, I was able to ignore it.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
You know, sometimes I even wonder why Cyrax even tries to spin the yarn about the whole Marty situation. It's very clear that he's never really tried to ignore him. Like, yeah, he's taking sabbaticals here and there, but he always ends up coming back. And a lot of the times he comes back unprovoked. So how much has he really tried to ignore it, and how much did he really try to distance himself from it? Honestly, from the very beginning, it's like Marty and Cyrax have been attached at the hip, and not necessarily in the best way.
He wasn't taking it to that personal level of like, you know, showing up to my house, trying to have harm done to me or my family. Like, he wasn't taking it that far at first. But then later on over the years, as I'm sure some of you guys have seen, he started showing up, started doing this, started doing that. And that's when it became a thing of like, all right, you want to sit here and get my attention? Well, now you have it. What the you want, dude?
Is this like, the Marty that beat you up? You did.
Yes.
Wow.
What was that? What was that like?
Next, we're gonna see Cyrax delve into the whole Marty fight, and how he tries to portray it is pretty funny. There's a moment to where he's like, Marty was so fat that he lost traction and fell on me, and that's why he won. And it's just honestly kind of the funniest thing ever to really hear like the excuse as to why he didn't win. Now, realistically, yeah, Cyrax is like 4'1", probably weighs about 75 pounds soaking wet. So realistically, this is not the matchup for him. Marty's probably 6 foot, 6'1", maybe 300 pounds according to Cyrax here. But yeah, that's definitely a match made in heaven for Marty. Marty probably didn't even really have to try. And if Marty really did slip and fall on him, that's even funnier because that's all it took to beat him up. Now, I do understand that about 99.9% of the words that come out of Cyrax's mouth are either a lie or some sort of distortion of the truth. But it's actually hilarious to think that he finds it more embarrassing on the side of Marty that he may have slipped or fell or whatever, and doesn't realize to think that, oh yeah, I basically got beat up by being fallen on.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll get around to that. But like, can you say this? Has it ever benefited you from going in around Marty and defending yourself?
Yes and no. Like, it definitely, like, it obviously doesn't necessarily help the long run in a sense, but it also at the same time, it does show that I'm not just gonna sit there and take so much. It also does.
From the outside looking in, at no point has you interacting with him ever benefited you other than like short-term dopamine hits of you being like, oh, I can't let the stand. Take for example the
Right.
fight. Like he went and rented an Airbnb
Yeah.
near your house.
Believe it or not, I actually was just talking to his ex-girlfriend. Speaking on that, his ex-girlfriend, Saren, who I'm still very good friends with.
Oh boy, here goes Cyrax spinning that yarn again. Now, Cyrax is clearly not talking to the real Saren, if he's talking to Saren at all, in any capacity. Cyrax just seems to fall for any troll that happens, and I'm almost 100% positive some troll hit him up with a fake account and is pretending to be this person. Now, it's interesting to hear Wings of Redemption be the voice of reason here, you know, with all his freakouts and his history documented online. Definitely potentially a future project of mine, but I feel like other people have done that well enough at this point. What I find really sad is that every little detail we've covered so far in this podcast has been really depressing, and Cyrax kind of wears it like a badge of pride.
I found out that he only did that because she went out of town for, I guess, like a family event or something or whatever. And because he was bored where he was at, that's when he said, it, came down here, rented the Airbnb, and basically kept on saying like, you won't do this, you won't do that, you won't show up, blah blah blah. And he did that for like 2 or 3 days. It was on the 3rd day that he was here that I found out about that. And when I saw him kept on saying that, it's like, you know what, I'm tired of this dude sitting there saying I won't do shit. So me, you know, coming from, you know, me being an army brat and my dad being military and me being raised around, you know, that kind of environment, you're always taught at a young age, like, don't take shit from anybody.
Yeah, but how tall are you?
Yeah,
I'm 5'3". I'm 5'3". He's like, what?
Yeah, he's got like a foot on you, and
It's got like 100 pounds on you,
oh,
easy, right?
Actually, try about. I honestly, if I had to guess, if I had to take an educated guess, like realistically, I'd say the dude weighs almost 300 at least.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Tommy C was actually in the military at one point, and when he started all this podcasting stuff, I'm pretty sure he was literally living on an army base somewhere. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure Tommy C's actually been in the military. So it must be pretty infuriating to hear some weird whack thing coming from this psychotic goblin in the attic saying, well, I'm an army brat, so that makes me tough. That means we don't take shit from nobody. I'm like, no, that just means that your father or your mother were in the military. It doesn't mean anything, to be honest. Like, it's kind of one of the weirdest things I've ever heard somebody try to like act like they're tough with. Like, yeah, I'm an army brat, you know, I street smarts. I'm like, Cyrax, the only thing you've ever done in the street was get beaten up by good old Marty.
Now, did you roll up on him or did
40?
he roll up on you?
I rolled up on him because I got tired of him sparking his fucking mouth.
See, you can't do that. You cannot do that.
Right.
You haven't seen this clip, Boogie?
No.
Yeah.
My education started this morning.
Well, maybe it was
an hour ago, so I'm learning as we go.
Maybe it was your father's military
yeah.
background that made you roll up on him.
My dad, yeah, because like it's one of those things where when I was in school, I was always that outcast kid.
No.
I was always that kid that every.
Really?
Yeah, I was.
Well,
that,
the funny thing is,
yeah,
I was into music too. I
kid.
play guitar as in a band. I never felt that way. But oh no, let me hear it.
But yeah, like as a kid growing up, I was always that
Oh,
kid
it
that
sucks.
got bullied, pushed around, and shit. So like for me, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, you want to sit here and talk. You don't think I'm going to show up. Well, everything you say that I'm not going to do, I'm going to. It's really a matter of like proving him wrong is what that really was for me. It's like you say I'm not going to show up. Here I am.
At this point, we've probably covered this 105 times or whatever, but there's just something so strange about Cyrax's point of view on the whole Marty showdown. The fact that he thinks that just because he showed up, just because he talked his smack, and just because he walked away, that he somehow won this whole exchange. Clearly, he talked his smack, and he showed up. And good on you, Cyrax. That's one of the few things we can say that you actually did. But on top of that, you got your ish handed to you. You got your bootay smacked up a little bit. And on top of that, you were screaming like a little goblin just to go home on the stream and be like, I almost died, but I showed out.
Yeah, you proved him wrong.
Yeah,
but
like
you also
what was
caught
the
a beat
what did he do
for
to
no
you? Like
reason.
what was the
Yeah,
beat like?
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, dude, for me, I don't even give a that, you know, I got my ass into it because, like, you know, us growing up as kids, you know, you either won or you lost. At the end of the day, it don't really matter. It don't really matter
Kiwi Farm says you lost a tooth during that. Did that happen?
No. That never happened. All I walked away with was a up nose.
What did he do? Did he did he give you a combo? Did he give you suplex or?
No, what happened was it was super wet outside that night when I went over there because it had just been raining that day. And he came out, seen me, and when he went to hit me, he slid. So to catch himself, he kind of went like this, like he almost had like his hands down like this. which then, like, he basically fell on top of me, essentially. And he kind of was like, okay, I'm on top of him. Let me take advantage of this. And that's when he started just punching.
So you
the
didn't
living
slip,
fuck
he
out of me.
slipped. Oh.
Yeah, he slid. Yeah, he slid on top of me, and then that's when he
So like
started
a
doing what he was
300-pound
doing.
guy just like slipped onto you, is what you're saying.
Nice.
Sorry guys, hitting this fucking bong of copium. Just like, it's clearly Cyrax is smoking the copium, because I mean, I don't know how he can realistically be like, I don't care that I got my ass beat. I showed out. I didn't lose no teeth. I didn't lose nothing. I showed out. I won that fight because I stood on my word.
Did that scenario hurt your pride at all?
Oh no, not at all. Not at
Like,
all.
it seemed like you came back and you cut a promo on him after the incident.
Yeah, I will admit, like, part of me was like, this is up. Like, this dude's like 300 plus pounds. This dude's been harassing me and my family for years, kind of deal, because he has been for such a long time. But then it was also like, hey, I may have lost the fight, but at least I showed up. At least I showed up, and I don't care how tall or short you are. If you're gonna sit there and say that I'm not gonna fight you and you're in my area and you're within walking distance, chances are I'm gonna show up.
Chances
fight him
are.
again?
Get it?
Oh, absolutely.
Chances are.
Now, in these next couple of clips, we're gonna see our boy Tommy C here start to charge up and get ready to use that good old solar beam he's been saving for the end here to knock Cyrax straight out the game. He's got some facts he's gonna spit. He's got some things he wants to question. Now, we're gonna continue learning more about some of the Marty shenanigans that have gone on with good old Cyrax and get his point of view on everything. But as I'm sure you can already tell here, he's not gonna be very honest.
That ended the Marty saga, right? After that, he's
No,
left you alone.
No.
I wonder why that is, because you think after something like that, it'd be done.
I can tell you it. I can
happened?
tell you exactly why, dude. He's always had this weird obsession with. Like, I actually asked him the other night, like,
Well,
after
he makes
broke
money
the-
off of you.
Yeah, it does quite a bit.
Yeah, but no, like, this spans before even that. Like, this whole thing with him spans far back, further than anyone really knows.
I have a question. Do you think that maybe the reason he posted up in your town is the hopes that you would come out and would beat the hell out of him? And like the entire goal is that he wants to lure you into doing stupid shit. Do you think that might be it?
Oh, definitely. I know that's definitely a part of it. But at the same time, for me as a human being, it's like, I'm not thinking about like, oh, this dude wants to make money off me.
You're not thinking.
Yeah, boy.
Like, I'm thinking in the terms of like, okay, this dude wants to sit here and around. He's gonna find out. Because when you around with the wrong motherfucker, chances are you're gonna
It just wasn't you. It just wasn't you that
And
day.
why?
Yeah, it wasn't
Right,
you
yeah,
that
yeah.
day.
It wasn't that day.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Wasn't you,
like
wasn't
I
that
said,
day, yeah.
I love that Cyrax really does seem to believe so wholeheartedly that there is a deeper, more unethical reason outside of just simply making money, making laughs, and just kind of having a good old time memeing this PDF online. He really does seem to think that there's a deeper vendetta, a cabal, if you will, against him, and it's honestly just hard to explain. Sometimes you feel bad for it, but once you remember all the terrible things this guy does, you can't really feel bad about it at all.
and like I said, like, I understand that I got my ass.
It
handed to
happens.
me. I get it.
Please let me go. I'm begging you. Please.
You win some, you lose some.
Go in
It's
there.
like-
Did you know you would lose that
Would
fight?
you
Because
fight him
obviously he's
again?
bigger than you and everything
Honestly,
else.
no. If I absolutely had to, I wouldn't want to, but if I had to, I would. Like, if
Because
it
like
came
we
down
know a
to it.
promoter here that could probably get you lined up to fight him again. And
Well, it'd be good to see
Well,
that in
boy,
the ring. Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, here within the next week or so, he may not be on YouTube anymore.
Whoa.
Ooh,
How do you know?
Ooh.
Me,
Breaking
me
news
and-
here on Lolcowlive.
Me and one of my friends actually started gathering all the evidence of all the scummy shit that he's done to me, all the blackmail and all that shit. We got all that together.
How absolutely glorious and downright hilarious would it be to see 4'1" Chance Wilkins weighing in a whole 69 pounds with a striking force of 4 pounds and 20 ounces? This is a man who would be a menace against 6'1", 300 pounds from the goddamn South. You got Marty. Music Biz Marty. He's like the Andre the Giant of Cyrax's world. Now this does sound like a money match made in heaven, and I would pay whatever price needed to watch.
We actually ended up getting in contact with an actual staff member at YouTube, sent them all the stuff, and they are more than likely going to be getting FBI and police involved to
what you're saying right now, Chance, it's not going to work. I can tell you.
Well, you never know. Well, you never know.
Well, I know because I've experienced
up the poll, I guess, you know.
Because like I've dealt with YouTube personally, because trolls attack my own personal channels, and I've dealt with FBI cases personally, like legitimate FBI cases. I've actually got one of my trolls in federal prison right now, and like YouTube is not going to interact with the police at all if they can help it. And YouTube is very hands off. They're going to make go through like filing forms and waiting time.
Oh, I know.
Then you got
I know, and that's.
Oh my gosh, once again, somehow Jordy is being the voice of reason and giving Cyrax some genuinely good advice. Now, you're gonna see that a bunch in this interview. Jordy is actually gonna give some pretty decent advice. I mean, shoot, even Boogie gives some not so bad advice, actually. And, you know, Cyrax is always like, yeah, but, you know, it's going through in ear, out the other. Also, knowing how the whole Miss Kelly thing ends up, we can imagine that Cyrax was feeling strong at this point, but we all know how it happens. Now, yeah, Music Biz Marty and a bunch of other channels did get taken down, but, I mean, that was bound to happen anyway with how TOS was going. But we all know Cyrax is trying to claim that body as his own.
Like you said, the cops don't deal with the public easements, but you recently got in trouble with the police for hitting a guy with a baseball bat on a public
and
easement.
dude, and what's so crazy is even a lot of my biggest trolls that hate on me were like, dude, that is like, he showed up on your property. He should have been the one to be made leave.
But it wasn't your property though. He was on the sidewalk.
Well, here's the thing though. What a lot of people don't realize is he kept on going on and off the property, and when I swung at him, he initially was on the property, but he caught the bat and stepped back, which is what allowed him to press those charges against me.
Right.
That's why I got arrested. They actually ended up getting dropped. The dude never showed up for court. Dude, I sat there going in and out of court for like 6 months straight. Literally, this is where
he's not
he
very
made
street,
his mistake.
is he? He's not a street guy.
No, he's not smart. It was what it is. Like, this dude played it stupid. He literally went on his community tab on YouTube and posted this thing about how he's not going to show up. So I ended up taking that, giving that to my lawyer. They took it, gave it to the prosecutor. All I had to do was sign a piece of paper basically saying that I showed up and that he did.
Did you get a public defender, or did you actually go out and hire a lawyer?
No, we actually had to go out and hire one because the public defender that I got was trash.
Now, Cyrax, calm down and pause for just a second. I'm gonna learn you something. I might be a good old Southern boy, but I do have a little bit of education in my brain. Now, this is what you call revisionist history, which is basically the reinterpretation of historical events and stuff like that. You can often change things and challenge things, especially establish views or narratives, by using new data or a different perspective, or, as many politicians would like to say, alternative facts.
And all these other people like, look,
what was the thought process about bringing the baseball bat with you if you didn't want to harm anybody?
That it was literally a matter of just basically just self-defense, because you gotta figure there was more of them than there was of me. There was one me, there was like 8 or 9 of them.
Yeah, but you didn't really hit him with a bat until he was almost by himself in the video.
Yeah, and that's because of the fact that like they saw me swinging at first, so like they knew. Once I came out there with the bat, they're like, oh, yeah, like they knew, like once I came out there, they knew, like, oh,
this man
like, this dude
is from the streets.
Around.
This man's an army brat.
And that's just me as a person. That's not even going back to, you know, my roots as somebody that's street smart or somebody that, you know, is an army brat. That's just me as a person. Like, and you're not welcome there, and you're sitting there attacking their family. Like, what do you expect to happen?
Now, this retelling of how the whole aware of myself confrontation went down is not true, and I'm gonna have to throw a red flag on this one. As the official Deep South sheriff of these streets, my buddy Cyrax, I have to say that we gotta be honest. The footage that you see on screen doesn't show 8 or 9 people coming at you. And from all the perspectives, from all the footage I've seen, even when your neighbor started coming out, which was after you started swinging the bats from what I've seen, there wasn't like 9 of them there. There was maybe 5 or 6, and most of them were pretty far away. There was like one other guy that I noticed that actually came close enough to actually be swung at with the bat. So Cyraxx, I'm calling shenanigans on this one.
For pure example, say I'm some random dude, and I showed up on one of your guys'
I call the police.
You guys are probably gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Like I'm gonna talk to you through my camera.
That's again the smart
and
choice.
if you don't want to
That's the
leave,
smart choice. Yeah.
I'm gonna call the county mounties for you.
Right, exactly. And for us, like, we were actually in the process of calling the police. My mom actually had them on the phone when I went out there.
Isn't it like incredibly sad to see all of these lolcows sitting here being like, yeah, Cyraxx, we would call the police. We would not open the door. We would tell them to leave, you know, like any normal, actual, rational human being. You can't just go out swinging your swords at people. Can't go out shooting people. That's not how any of this works. He's gonna bring up the castle doctrine here in a minute, and he can't even understand how that works. That is literally if you are in threat of your life. Like there is somebody breaking into your home. There is somebody in your home with a weapon trying to kill you, attack you, do something like that. That's how that works. It's not quite as black and white as, oh, this guy stepped on my property so I can blow his face off. Like even in Texas or Florida, that's not how that works.
Like she was actually calling them saying, hey, we got a bunch of people out here. This is what's going on. But by the time they had got there, he had already caught the bat. He had already filmed the footage. And then they ended up arresting me. I ended up going.
Do you understand why they arrested you?
Getting bonded out. Oh yeah. I definitely understand why. Was it cool for them to do that? Not necessarily, because the dude.
This point, home chance. Like the sidewalk isn't part of your property. Like that's considered public property.
Oh yeah. Oh
so,
yeah.
Like, when you went out. When you went out to the sidewalk, it's called a public easement. And when you hit them, you physically, you're just basically physically assaulting somebody on public property, regardless of what he's doing, because we have freedom of speech in America.
Right. That's it. And that's the thing. Like at that point in time, like I genuinely thought that he was on our property because he did kind of, you know, he kept going on and off for a good few minutes, and that's why.
But even if he's trespassing, you're not allowed to physically assault somebody trespassing. You're supposed to call the police and have them escort them.
Like they were actually off to the side trying.
Why don't you record this stuff?
You should absolutely be recording this.
Right, and I know I should have. Believe me, I know I should have, because then at least then, you know, I could have showed from
your perspective.
You know, like this is what this dude did. I mean, good God, the dude literally, he didn't record this. But the dude literally came on our property and knocked on our door.
So as we've heard a plethora of times from Chance himself, that there is somehow always an excuse or a reason that why what he did was okay. Didn't have any accountability in this story retelling at all. It was all the dude's fault. And now we're about to hear a crazy, real deep conspiracy against Cyraxx. The APD, Marty, everybody else is working together against good old Chance Wilkins. He's that important. I'm telling you, he's really that important.
After I got arrested, this dude still had his freaking, like, his head wrapped up with that t-shirt or mask or whatever it was that he was wearing, sitting there being friendly as with the cops as if he knew them. It's like, just something about that was just really weird.
You think the cops of Akron are
I don't know.
With the guy that lives out of town?
They could be.
I don't know. Like with I know for, well, not know for a fact, but I've got my, you know, suspicions of who they're linked up with. But with him doing that, I don't think that it's him specifically, but I do feel like, you know, it's definitely something within Marty's, you know, circle.
You think Marty said the guy?
Oh, absolutely.
Before we hear the next part of who he thinks the APD are linked up with, let's take some bets. $5 on Marty, $5 on Marty. That's all I'm saying. And if it is Marty, y'all owe me $5. I'm telling you, brother, I'm gonna come to your door.
What do you think is the thing that affected you the most that trolls have done to you? Like through all the things, regardless of the window being shot at. Like, was it like killing your Xbox? Was it like sending things to your house? Like, what bothered you the most?
The thing that definitely, I won't say like it affected me in terms of like, you know, me being a content creator, but what did affect me the most, like mentally scarred me, would definitely have to be when they had sent a dead baby pig still in the mother's fetal sack.
Oh, what is this?
House.
I never heard this.
Yeah, like about a year and a half ago, they ended up sending a dead baby pig still in the mother's fetal sack in a cardboard box, bloody and all.
Like through the mail?
Yeah.
Now, this is one of the things I've seen floated around a few times in the Cyraxx universe, and I just can't can't find any real corroboration. Now, it would be incredibly hard to send something like this, but I don't think it would be impossible. And it definitely is something kind of traumatic. I don't even blame Cyraxx for thinking that this is one of the more effed up things people have done to him, because I can't imagine the smell, the sight, like, But there's just, I've just not been able to find some real corroboration that this actually happened. I'm actually more of the understanding that this was probably something that Marty or one of the trolls said and just freaked him out with, and he just made himself believe. Like, Cyraxx does have a tendency to gaslight himself into believing his own delusions, but, you know, this could have actually happened. I just haven't really been able to corroborate it.
Was they had sent like this weird like powder stuff, and at first we didn't know what it was, so we ended up calling the police ended up calling the fire department, who actually ended up reaching out and getting a hold of Hazmat came out and took a look at it, as this is literally just sugar, but they did say that we did go about it the right way, because we didn't know what that shit could have been. We didn't know, like, we didn't know if it was sugar, anthrax, poison. We didn't know, so we were just like, hey, like, we need to get a hold of authorities. And believe it or not, I was asleep when all that went down, because my mom had woke me up like an hour later. She's like, you do realize that Hazmat was here earlier, right? I was like, what the how did I not hear the sirens and shit?
Now, Cyraxx isn't really wrong here. This is the right way of doing things, but come on, brother, you're telling me you couldn't really tell the difference between sugar and anthrax? I guess better safe than sorry, but it's things like this that sometimes really irk me when people like waste the taxpayers' time and money. It's like, brother, we pay for this out of our taxes and the jobs that we actually work. You're sitting in your attic scared about some sugar? Come on, brother. Also, before we move on to hear them talk about Cyraxx's love life and get into the more spicy stuff of this podcast where the yelling starts, the good old yelling, I just wanted to say that I've seen some comments where people are like, why do you call Cyraxx brother? I want to let you in on a really harsh reality about Swamp Dweller. I call everybody brother. I call my mother brother. I call my sister brother. I'm gonna call everybody brother.
Like, you had a significant other.
I noticed though. Is that a wedding ring?
Yeah.
Are you married to somebody, or a thing, or just the
No,
music, the music?
This is literally, it's actually a Celtic knot ring, but this is literally like the only finger that this ring will fit on, because it's so small that I was like,
all right.
So no, I'm not married. This is literally
So
just
what
a
happened with,
Celtic knot
was her
ring
name
to
Heather?
kinda-
What happened
Yeah.
between you and her?
I found out that she was a total
Let's start
piece of
before
shit.
that. Like how'd you meet her, and like how your relationship?
All right, I can actually, like, this was actually a situation that happened with one of my other exes that kind of led up into everything.
What happened with the candles?
So Candle she is.
I promise you, Candle, I find you. I am going to jail because I will murder you.
She'll make up all these lies and be like, oh, he raped me, he did this, he did that. And she did that same thing to me after I found out she was a total batshit crazy lunatic.
The candle situation is one I haven't quite yet made a video on, just because it is so old. A lot of stuff has been hard to find, but I do plan on getting that together one of these days. But it's actually kind of crazy to see that clip of Cyraxx basically being like, I'm gonna hunt you down, brother, I'm gonna get you. It's like, gosh, bro, do you actually think at all before you post these videos? Because that is so concerning. I'm honestly surprised Cyraxx hasn't been put in any sort of jail or detention center.
So I ended up blocking her, and I thought we had gone our separate ways. Well, one of our mutual friends at the time, they were like, dude, like, did you know she's making videos about you? And I was like, no, I got her blocked. Like, where are these videos at? And they had sent me her YouTube channel, and they were your typical videos, like when your ex wants to get revenge on you, like, oh, he's a piece of shit. He did this,
what did she say you did?
He's a this, he's a that, blah, blah, blah. Like, I supposedly her and this and that and the other, but bear in mind, we never even met outside of Facebook. That's the weird thing. And it's like, how can I rip you if we never met in real life?
Yeah,
that doesn't add up.
Cyraxx do be having a point there. I mean, if you never met and you never had any physical contact, it would be hard to R-word someone. So, I mean, I guess at the very least we can give Cyraxx that small W. But, I mean, that don't mean much considering everything else that's gone on in his time. But let's continue to hear about his love life here.
Are there any little chances running around that you don't, or that you know of?
Nah, not that I'm aware of.
We'd probably get an alert. Another one of you.
Probably. Probably.
The reason I wanted to
shit.
ask about your love life is like you seem like you're lonely. So, but let's get back to the catfish. Like,
Yeah, I got a lot of questions about that.
you get catfished often, and most of the time you get catfished by people that pretend to be underage girls.
There it is.
Well, that's the thing though. That's the thing though. A lot of them aren't underage.
I'm pretty sure all of them weren't underage girls.
Who's
There's no
Katie?
reason.
Who's Katie?
Katie was a mod for my channel, and a lot of people have this thing of like, oh, you guys talk sexually and blah blah blah. When really there was no sexual.
You didn't send him a
involved.
picture of your penis?
No. It was literally just they were a mod on my channel, and we talked and stuff like that. Like not in that way, but like we talked about like the streams and just different random shit. Like it wasn't like he's hitting on me kind of deal. It was just us hanging out. Nothing sexual was going on, and people are always like, oh, he's doing this. Like,
now there's a pretty big contrast in this last clip. Cyrax says, there ain't no little Cyraxes that I know running around. Yet there are multiple videos of Cyrax crying his eyes out, saying that Heather was pregnant with his child and gave it away for adoption. And he ran with that narrative for a long time. I believe back in 2021 is when he started saying all that. Now it's 2024 and suddenly none of that ever happened? Alrighty, Cyrax. And then also the underage mod thing. Now that is definitely a story that is really hard to put a full judgment on, but in reality, here's the basis of it. When you're an adult, Cyrax, you should not be socializing, hanging out, or doing anything with minors, especially if they're not family. You know how weird it is, dude? You know how crazy that is that you're sitting here saying, I was talking to this 13, 14-year-old, and don't worry though, they were just a mod, nothing sexual was happening. It really doesn't matter if anything sexual happened. It's so weird, bro. Like, look at the optics.
Dude, they're literally just a mod on my channel.
So what was Masshole Report talking about when you sent your pictures to a 14-year-old girl?
So the whole thing with that was Marty took what Candle had accused me of being about, saying I was doing this, doing that, and because he has that weird obsession with me, and the fact that I turned him down, because I did turn him down, because he had tried to make a pass.
So Marty tried to make a sexual pass at you.
No, not sexual, but I did find out that he is bisexual.
Wait, are you though?
I guess he. No.
Why didn't you have a trans girlfriend?
That's because I don't judge, dude. Like if they're
you
if
had
they
a trans
identify
girlfriend?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. For a while I did, and then it just really didn't work out between us. So I was like,
what made it not work out?
Was it the penis?
No, just the fact that like they had no goals in life. Like they didn't.
I mean, they obviously wanted to be a woman. That's a goal.
Right, yeah.
Well, that's different though. Like that's different. But like they didn't want to like do anything with their life. Like they just basically wanted to sit at home, have someone take care of them, and basically they didn't want to work or do anything.
They didn't want to be like a sex toy or anything.
Cyrax trying to dog his ex regardless of their status, whether they're trans or not. None of that really matters to me, if I'm honest. Is kind of sad because he's like, yeah, they have no ambition. They don't want to do anything with their life, no drive. They just want people to take care of them. It's like, dog, like that's literally what you're doing with Sally. It's just the pot calling the kettle black.
So I want to go back to I want to go back to the 14-year-old girl, because we got text between you and this girl that you think is 14 years old. I'm hearing you like it didn't happen.
Right,
like
so,
how did that did it make it so?
Right, so no, what happened was, are you referring to the whole Katie thing, or are you referring to the Mastro Mafia?
Well, I'm interested in anything.
If there's multiples, let's get into all of them.
Yeah, let's get into multiples.
All right, so the whole thing with Mastro Mafia, like I said, when Marty made a pass at me, I guess he got pissed off that I turned him down, and he didn't like that because I later on found out from his now ex that he does not take rejection or anything well.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with the 14-year-old girl? Right, Marty person.
Well, I'm getting to that. What happened was Marty had hired Mastro Mafia to talk to me the way that she did. On the phone call, she pretended to be 18, tricked me into sending certain photos, and it was after the photos were sent back and forth. Yeah, but it was only after the photos were sent that she claimed to be underage.
Now, this is why I like Tommy C from time to time. Now, he's annoying in his own right, but times like this, you can really appreciate Tommy's annoyingness, because he's gonna keep pressing and poking Cyrax and not letting him get away with this BS story he's trying to spin. Now, he's gonna hold him accountable, and you're gonna see Cyrax Cyrax start to give us that good old goblin rage.
Are you sure about that?
Oh,
Because there's a text between you and her that you look 14.
Oh, yeah.
You look 14 years old, so it's okay.
Well, that's the thing, though, dude. A lot of these people, they like to Photoshop shit, dude. I'm not joking. Like, they do like to Photoshop and make me out to be this awful person.
Because didn't you say a long time ago, someone even made an AI version of your voice to make it sound like you're saying things to young women?
And they do. And they do. They actually have done that. Matter of fact, if you want a good version of that, check out fucking
right, they were doing that even before the technology existed, really, like publicly. They were early on.
No, what happened was the AI stuff, it was like fairly new around that time, and they knew that. Like, they saw that and were like, okay, we can make money off this guy because of this up situation. How can we do this?
Yeah, Cyrax, that's all this is. It's just some evil cabal who found you online and just wants to frame you as a PDF, wants to frame you as a grandma abuser, wants to frame you as a woman abuser. I don't know, man. I think it might just be something running in that sludge you're drinking.
But Chance, you got caught twice from Asshole Report. In fact, you're on record as saying when she asked you, when she asked you, when was the last time you got catfished? You said you. So this has happened more than once.
No, it has not, dude. No, it has not. That whole thing. Are you referring to the other situation?
I'm referring to a video that I saw when you were asked point blank.
What video?
Oh, come on, Chance. Let's be honest here. You're in a million streams. And I'll tell you if you let me finish. When you were asked, when was the last time you talked to a 14-year-old girl? And your response was, the last time you catfished me.
Okay, then, all right, then let me ask you this. Why was it that the last time that when I confronted her about why she did what she did, why was her answer, because you give off foul vibes? And to boot, in that same call, she proceeded to hit on my stepdad while me and my mom were in the room.
Look, she hit on my stepdad in front of my mom. She's a bitch. She's just a whole bitch. The fact that Chance can't even just be like, you know what, I got caught, I messed up, it might just make him actually endearing to the audience. I've said this so many times throughout this series, but honesty is actually a lot more endearing than people give credit to. Like, not saying that anybody would like him or accept him or stop bullying him, but the fact that he can't just for once have any self-awareness, any accountability for any of the stuff that he does, it's to such a sad, low, and depraved level that he is grasping at straws, trying to say, well, she hit on my stepdad. It's like, brother, what?
These people clearly state that they're 14 years old, and you keep going for it.
But here's the thing, though. Dude. They're not underage. They are of
age.
And what I'm doing
but they're telling you they're not, and you're fine with it.
Wow, you are so
no, I'm not.
Stupid,
believe
bro,
me. No.
Actually,
you
are, dude. Dude, like, what's your deal?
What do I deal? I don't know. I'm not talking to 14-year-old girls, and you're lying.
That is definitely not a deal.
All right. Okay. All right. If you're not sitting here messing around with us, then why the you got Boogie up here?
Boogie's
go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear about how I'm a pedophile.
Boogie's girlfriend's over 18.
She's 21. She bought a drink legally last night.
Hold on.
And obviously, clearly I am, because we have you on. Because you keep calling for this over and over again.
You, bro. And let me tell you right now, you jackass. You think you know, bro.
Well, it's all on the internet. Unless there's like some magic AI. There's some magic AI just messing with you.
Hey, crackhead. Hey, man, why don't you sit down and shut the... Nah, you're a crackhead, motherfucker. What do you do on free time?
I've seen you.
He doesn't look at all like a crackhead. Maybe more.
Hold on.
Ah, this is what we've been waiting for. Cyrax finally lost his cool. And honestly, the fact that it took this long to get Cyrax to rage out the way he has, when he has been slighted and made fun of quite a few times in the stream so far, is actually kind of a miracle. It's actually insane. Sam Cyrax making a little bit of progress on that anger management, but at the end of the day, you just couldn't hold it all in, brother, could you? You just couldn't hold it all in.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, bro. Maybe if motherfuckers like y'all motherfuckers would leave me the fuck alone and stop going at me,
I'm not going at you. I'm giving you a place to vent your opinion.
I'm talking to
you
this.
Called me a pedophile. I was here to be your friend.
No, hold on, boys. And Tommy, let me tell you something right now, motherfucker. I know you're a kind motherfucker. You're a smug little motherfucker that thinks he's a badass, but really you're a chicken. That's all you are, bro. You're an internet fucking shit talker that thinks he knows everything. Man, let me tell you right now, dude. I don't listen to the internet. The internet don't mean shit to me.
You're all over it.
I don't owe the internet.
You're all over it. You're on. You actually have more airtime than I do, and I've been in the podcast for 10 years straight.
You think I give a bruh? You think I give a? You think I give a fuck?
Yes,
I don't give a.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
Oh, really?
Yes, you do.
Dude.
Yes, you do.
Hey, Wings. Does this face look like somebody that actually gives a? Because clearly I don't. Little jackass.
You look like an extra from Deliverance. If that
like you got catfish.
No,
your face is all over.
Right now,
it says, "I give a."
Damn, Cyrax, this was your chance to mingle among the fields, maybe make some friends with some of the other cows here, and instead you're just disrespecting Boogie, calling him all sorts of names, disrespecting Wings by talking crazy in front of him like that. You know this is a good Christian man, you know he doesn't want to see any of that, and then disrespecting Tommy C, an actual veteran of this country. I'll tell you what, brother, if you are such a street smart, such a street savvy man, you might actually be able to navigate some of these social situations you find yourself in. But instead of being able to articulate yourself or even just remove yourself from the situation entirely to avoid any more of this nonsense, you're gonna rage, you're gonna cut a promo. So let's see what Cyrax has to say further.
You think I give a shit what people post about, bro? I get motherfuckers like you on my chat all the time, bro.
Well, yeah, I get you're okay with them exposing you for talking to 14-year-old girls.
Yeah, do you think it's because you talk to 14-year-old girls that you get trolled so much?
Hey,
I don't know.
Let me tell you right now, bro. You're a small piece of shit. You're a punk.
Chance.
You're no, hold up. I'm about to say something to your ass, Tommy. You seriously need to grow the fuck up and get a
I don't know. My wife's 42. Yours is 14.
True, yeah.
Dude, let me tell you right now. No, you know what's funny? None of the shit of what you what you're telling me, Tommy, is you're more likely to believe the internet. There are a bunch of.
I'm more likely to believe guys that repeatedly get caught.
Well, then that makes me.
You
that makes
repeatedly
you a
get
that
caught.
makes you a sheep.
No, that makes you a guy who talks to 14-year-old girls.
None. That makes you a fucking sheep.
Now, there is probably another 20-30 minutes to this interview you can go find on the Lolcowlive channel. The video is called Cyrax Self-Reports, and I definitely think you should listen to the whole thing without me interjecting or without me cutting out stuff and all that stuff. But realistically, what you just heard is the meat and potatoes of what went on in that Lolcowlive thing. But there's some more raging, there's some more stuff that gets covered in the last 20-30 minutes that I didn't put into this. But as always, I do appreciate the ever-living crap out of you guys for supporting this series so far in. And if you made it to the end, thank you so much. If you haven't, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, really cool to see this channel growing, and leave a comment. The more comments, the more likes, the more interaction that this video drives in general, the more YouTube shows it to more people in the algorithm, and that helps this channel grow. But on top of that, it helps make more people aware of Cyrax and these other lolcows that we cover. Now, I get comments from time to time, people saying, you're just as bad as these lolcow channels and all that, and I disagree heavily. I mean, I'm not out here being a PDF. I'm not out here doing anything weird to any children. I've never once said a single off-color thing to a single fan of mine. I've never tried to hang out with any of them. I've never tried to do a goddamn thing outside of just make content on the internet. So if that's the same thing as Cyrax or Daniel Larson or any of these other people, well, that's just your personal mental illness. Anyways, have a great night. Thank you guys so much for supporting the swamp the way you do, and I really appreciate it. I'll see you soon with another Lolcow fun shenanigan ride.